reasons. So today, friends, if you have a blanket or some sort of padding to just give you a little courage to practice arm balances and have a little crash pad, I suggest it. And 2 blocks. If you have 2 blocks, definitely I'm gonna build us through something with blocks. If you don't, you'll use the floor, but we're gonna use those blocks again to work on an arm balance to make it a little more doable, I hope. There's always a either or end to it because it's different, but. All right, so I'll get started here pretty soon. And I always feel like I say too much when I think something's going to be harder and then I make it a bigger deal than it is. But I do think this is the trickiest technical pose that we work with this month. Today we're working through 2-legged K-Sage pose. It's an arm balance. And I want you to cultivate courage. I want you to cultivate playfulness and a sense of also let it go, let it be. And I think that the words that I've read all month of gratitude speak to both ends of this. So take a comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall through your spine. Settle into breath, settle into body. I'm gonna check that my mic and my video are working, unlike last week when I unknowingly didn't have my mic on. I think we're good. Okay, practice starts here today. Gratitude by Morgan Harper Nichols. I hope you do not feel like you shouldn't be able to talk about how difficult it is to wait and trust in the process. Please do not let anyone make you feel like you are automatically ungrateful just because you are struggling to see where the light pours in. Yes, a daily practice of gratitude is incredibly valuable to your well-being, but it does not mean that you have to pretend you are immune to the strong emotions that come with waiting. Learning to trust in the process is about learning to trust that there is so much happening beneath the surface. Beneath the layers of worries, doubts, and long lists of things you have not figured out, there's endless, boundless grace that gives you room to feel what you need to feel while also moving forward one step at a time. Let this be what you're grateful for: the opportunity to keep going, to keep trying, to keep waking up each morning knowing that even if you didn't have the best start, or even if the failures of yesterday still seem to haunt you, you are free to try again. You are free to trust and embrace the process of learning every lesson you need to learn that you know is only going to prepare you for whatever lies ahead. Opportunity to keep going, to keep trying. Gratitude for all of it. Open the eyes, reach the arms up to the sky. Take in a big reach and breath, and then lean over to one side. Inhale, both arms high. Exhale, lean over to the second side. Inhale, both arms high. Palms come straight down to the center. Bow into your fullness of grace, of courage, of strength for this hour of practice. And then come on over to all fours. I mentioned to have a blanket for a little crash pad, but you could use it underneath your knees if you want a little bit more padding, or otherwise just things off to the side. Cat and cow. Just let the back round here, and then come into extension, back and forth. Keep going for several more rounds of breath. I'll give us a little tunes in the background. And then pause with a neutral spine. Look a little ahead of your hands, so just past the front of the mat. Stretch one leg straight back, knee off of the floor. Press through that heel so you find a little stretch through the calves, maybe into the hamstring a bit. Little scoop of the tailbone longer towards the heels. And let's go 2 feet up, full plank. Push the weight as much as you can until your thumb into your first finger. Less weight in the back of the wrist. We're trying to bring it a little bit more forward and to the insides. Set the right knee down, so you're just stretching through that left leg now, and really press through so that you find the stretch in the calf, maybe a bit into the hamstring. Working with super straight arms, that should be fatiguing. And then both knees back down. And turn your hands around. Point your fingers towards your knees. You could take the hands just out to the side. If the full 180 turn is a little much, go towards 90. And sway your weight a little bit forward and back. I recommend playing with this stretch and turn on a daily basis. Really nice stretch in the forearms, working deep flexion in the wrists to keep you happy and strong. All right, turn the hands back around, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Set your left knee back down onto the mat. Keep your left hand a little in front of the line of the shoulder. Turn to the side so it's a knee down side plank. Lift the right arm, right leg off of the mat. Set the right leg down so you're balancing with a lot of pressure on the right foot and the left hand. And then can you just swing your left leg up so that the ankle crosses and you're in side plank, picking up the bottom leg. And then you set that left knee back down and come back to all fours. So right off the bat there, we've done an arm balance. You can see the ability of your body to do that. Send the left leg back behind you. And then balance on the right hand, right knee. Lift the left arm, left leg up. This way usually feels a little less scary, I think, to come into side plank. So then you set the left foot back down onto the mat. And it teaches us to get that left foot flat down And then lift the right knee, right leg, and cross ankles. Side plank. Squeeze tips of the shoulder blades in as you expand out to the fingertips. And then right knee comes back down, all the way around to all fours. And again, downward facing dog. Purposely keeping our hands on the mat here at the beginning as we have the most strength and energy. Work with the arms really straight and strong through all of these postures so that it builds our ability, our endurance, our strength. Okay, now you get to go down to child's pose. Rest the hands a little bit. Set your hips back towards the heels. Twisted child's pose. Send the right arm under the left. Reach the left arm out long in front. Change sides, so extract the right hand and then take left arm under. Again, twisted child's pose. All right. Extract, down dog. Lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Let's bend the knee and do big leg circles today. Try to make as big of a circle as you can. Wide motion in the hips. Go the opposite direction. Your whole body weight might sway a little bit forward and back here. We're looking for big movement. Now step your right foot all the way forward to your lunge. Have the feet about hip distance apart. Hands can be on either side to the inside. I mentioned everybody getting blocks. You could start to play with them here so that you already have some presence of hands on blocks. And then we're just going forward and back, straighten and bend through the front leg. Again, trying to make pretty big sweeping motions, not worried about alignment specifics. We did enough to get it settled. And then now you just move. Change to down dog lunge, back heel down. Take both hands now to the inside and walk further out in front of you. I like to split my hands over the front corner of the mat. If you're looking for a little more ease and access in the hips, you might be walking your hands further towards the left. Working on that connection of midline strength. Walk your hands further forward. And then everybody, make your way back to downward facing dog. Let's take the left leg high. All right, big circles, so you can bend the knee and take those big circles. As much room as you can do. Go one direction and then the other direction. Two-legged K-sage pose asks a lot in upper body strength and simply balance control. It's also asked more in the hips. Step the left foot all the way forward. And core strength. It gets a little piece of all of it. Go back and forth here. Use the blocks or the floor. All right, and then you take back heel down, hands to the inside, down dog lunge. Walk the hands out. Again, I like to split that top corner of the mat because it's doing like both a little bit of hip opening work and midline strength and core control. Walk the hands back in. This time step forward, both feet to the front end of your mat. Stand up, mountain pose. Ta-da. Inhale, lift the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to your mat. Peel the chest up, cobra. Downward dog, lift the hips up and back. Look to your hands. Can we do those bunny hops? Hop up and down. Your feet should land in the exact same spot. Try it 3 times. Hop. Maybe get a little bit of air, that courage coming through. Arms straight the whole time. And then jump your feet forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. Bring the palms to your center. I am full. I've got everything I need for this practice. Let's play and keep going. Lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. Cobra. Down dog. One more round of those hops. Y'all got it? Bend the knees. Hips are trying to go over the line of the wrist with long arms, long spine. And then after 3 hops, you make your way forward in between the hands. Half lift and fold. Stand up, arms to the sky. Palms together, greeting that center. Right here, hands stay in front of the chest. Lift the right knee up and into the chest. And then kick the leg back as you tilt forward. Warrior 3. Keep the hands as is, or extend straight out to the front. Like a T shape with a bent bottom leg. Hips stay really square there. And that stability that you're building in the outer hip of the standing leg comes in handy today. We're still here. Add little pulses in the back leg. If it's all shaking, you're doing it right. Take the hands to your waist and stand up. Palms in front of your heart, lift the left knee. Kick back, hinge forward. Friends, a nice alternative to this is left toes on the mat instead of lifted, and still working on the stability elements of the standing front leg. All right, if you're going for it, arms out in front. Can you tap into strength of your core? Breathe into the belly, breathe into the low ribs. Little pulses, lift the left leg higher. Oh, and then stand on 2 feet. Take your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Turn the toes out. Ready for a squat. Keep the feet flat, bend your knees. At some point, you're going to have to tilt torso more forward, butt out to take it lower. And you either are stopping around that point, or can you tuck tailbone back down towards the floor, still keeping your feet flat, and bring your torso more upright again. Sometimes I get stuck down here. And just really use the hands to like lift the legs and make your way back up to standing. Okay, shake out the legs. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot back into your high lunge. Lift the left arm. Take the reach straight over to the side. So that most of what you feel, I'm hoping, is in the left side of the torso and maybe the front of the left thigh here. But then when we lean forward, so fingertips are about more in line with that front knee, can you get the stretch and reach a little more into the lats, like the left side of your back? And then go a little deeper, hug the elbow to the outside of the thigh so that you're now in your twisted lunge. And it's that same sense of lengthening on the left side of your back as you twist through the belly. Right shoulder, top shoulder pulls up towards the sky. Listen up, lower your left knee to the ground. Stay in your twist. Couple more breaths. This is an important feeling, that deeper twist for progressions today. Oh, and then it always feels so nice. Untwist, big breath, arms up. Fill everything. Downward facing dog. Place the hands down, step back. Inhale, come forward to plank. Lower flat down to the mat. Reach their hands back. Shalabhasana or locust pose. Lift everything that you can up off of the mat, or belly down, back bend. And then change to high plank and rock just a tiny bit forward and back. So shoulders more towards the line of the fingers, back over the line of the wrist. Forward towards the fingers, the wrist. One more time, fingers and wrist. Lower your knees down, you're back into all fours. Cat and cow. Downward facing dog. Make it to the front of your mat if you're still going for the jumps today, or a step, or a walk. Find your best movement. Inhale, half lift. Fold over. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky, and then hands to your waist. Second side, it starts with the lunge, left foot forward, right foot back. Again, feet hip distance apart, so they're on like two different tracks, as always. Square it off, and then lift the right arm high. Don't forget to reach up first, so you get a little taller first, and then to the side. Straight to the side, more towards fingertips in line with the hip. All right, we want to keep all that good side body stretch, but then also bring it into the spine. So then come a little forward, fingertips more in line with knee or front toes. And then third stage is the twist, elbow to the outside of the knee. I'm usually not happy with where I first place the elbow. It just takes some squishing, maneuvering around. And then from your best twist here, palms together, point the left elbow up to the sky, which is going to help continue that rotation in the top half, the left half of the body right now. You get to set the back knee down, stay with it. Come out of the twist, enjoy that big breath, filling sides of the body evenly, arms up. Okay, plank pose again. If you send the left leg back and then come up to your plank. This time in plank, I want you to try to hold your balance on the left hand and simply turn the right hand out so the fingers face the edges, the long edge of your mat, and then do that on the left side as well. And then rock a little forward so the shoulders maybe go towards the line of the thumb, and then back of the wrist, thumb, back of the wrist, thumb, back of the wrist. Set the knees down, change your hands to neutral, do cat and cow a couple of times. Downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. Walk both of your feet off of your mat over towards the right side, up to the line of your hands. Give a quick glance at the picture if that's not making sense. And then walk your feet back. Down dog. So hands stay planted the whole time. Walk your feet over towards the left. We're trying to get all 10 toes, all 10 fingers about to the same line. This makes my left wrist come off of the mat. Just from the angles, that's all right. Go back, downward facing dog. And then try it one more time. Walk both feet over towards the right side. Notice that you're less than a twist, more all lined up. And then back. Feet to the left. And back. Set the knees down, sit back on your heels. Turn your hands in circles. Turn your hands in circles the other way. Come up to kneeling. If you're using a blanket for padding, place it underneath your knees here so that that's the last thing you're thinking about. Camel pose. Let's all take our hands, brush right at the knees. And then as you brush the hands up your thighs to your hips, try to make that level, knees, hips, all at the same place. So your butt's not sticking out and you're not so tucked forward that the hips are over the line of the knees. Start from neutral. And then lift the right hand up and straight over to the side. Come back to the center, look up towards your right hand, lean from your knees to your shoulders, back about 30 degrees so that you feel this strengthening in the quads, Squeeze your butt, strengthen the quads to hold you there. If this is felt in your low back, come up higher until you're not. And then come back to neutral and release the hand. Lift the left arm up. Side reach in the beginning. Back upright. Look up. Okay, again, trying to keep the same line. Knees, hips, shoulders, head, all the way up to the top hand. Lean everything back at the same rate, about 30 degrees. Squeeze like crazy. Tone in the abdomen. TVA, transverse abdominals, squeezing around. And then come back to neutral. 2 hands to your waist. Same thing, but squeeze the elbows back. Lean everything back, same rate. Can you reach one hand to your heel? Can you reach the other hand to your heel? And then try to break the line by pushing your hips more forward, shoulders more back. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take both hands back to the waist if not already. And come to neutral. Feels a little lightheaded always to me. That same sort of response is coming out of a twist. Just give yourself a couple of breaths. And then we're going hands back down onto the yoga mat. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Pull the knee into your chest, hover forward, make the arms as straight as they'll go. And then up and back. Right knee to the left elbow, so it's a twist under the body. Notice the different balance of weight in the hands. And then up and back. Step the right foot forward to a lunge. Come up to high lunge. Arms to the sky. And then open to the side, warrior 2. Spin the back heel down. Extend the arms in either direction. Gaze out over your front fingertips. Warrior 2. Elbow to the knee. Top arm palm down overhead. Side angle pose. What's a yoga class without side angle pose? Love this asana. Give the bind a go. Take the left hand behind your back. Maybe drop the right shoulder lower to the inner edge of the thigh. Good on those 2 stages of the bind. Send the right hand under your thigh to catch your hand or your pants or your shirt behind you. And then try to extend your head more towards the line of your knee rather than the long edge of the mat. Release your bind, triangle pose. Place the right arm down, stretch the right leg straighter. Look at your bottom leg and go back to your low lunge, hands on either side. Can you change here to pigeon? Pick up your right foot and then set the right knee down. Pigeon pose, I want you to think more like camel pose here. So we're going to stay lifted in the torso. The back knee can always be more forward, hips higher to make all of this doable. All right, lift the right arm up to the sky. Think of that reach a little bit to the left. Come back to neutral And I want you to stay in that neutral position and pull the back heel. Opposite hand to foot, reach the right hand back, hold on to the left foot. We're doing a lot of core center work here to balance this pose. More doable, set the left hand down. So this is more about balance, less about the stretch. Key to those arm balances is building the courage to see how your balance changes in all types of poses. Release, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Lift the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Take the knee forward into the chest, hover. How does that change the weight in your hands? Inhale, lift the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. And then it's the twist, left knee towards the right elbow. So I've got a little bit different amount of weights in the hands to hold that. And then up and back. Step the left foot all the way through. Come up to high lunge. Warrior two. We've got this. Side angle pose, elbow to the knee, top arm palm down overhead. The options and bound angle are meant just as that. First option, hand goes behind your back. Second, shoulder to the inner thigh. Third, left hand under. Hold on to something. And then swing the head more towards the left foot. Just keep the tailbone under you. Triangle pose, left hand down, right arm up, make the left leg straighter. Look down, change to your regular lunge. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to the mat. A very wide cobra. Take the hands off of the mat, point the elbows up to the sky. Be on your fingertips and lift. Stay in this lift. Give it a couple of breaths, maybe a little bit of pulse or a change in height. You can look over one side, look over the other side. I know I forgot that pigeon. We're gonna go back there right now. I guess I wanted to be done with it. Come back up to plank. Set the left knee behind the left wrist. And again, so pigeon pose, less for the stretch, more for working a funky balance that will give us the mindset to try new things. Hands to the waist, so that back knee needs to be forward enough, hips high enough that you find yourself more in a balance like you do in a lunge. And then reach the left arm up and a little bit over towards the right, which is another little difference, play and balance. If you come back to neutral, you bend the right knee, heel towards your seat. Reach the left hand back to try to hold on to your foot. Right hand anywhere that helps with your balance, including more down and forward on the mat. Release, go all the way to downward facing dog. Look to your hands and step your feet to the outside of your hands. Malasana, do your yogi squat here. Okay, I'm hoping that your blocks are accessible to you from where you are in Yogi Squat. If not, you gotta get up. Find your blocks, everyone. If you're not using blocks, you do the exact same thing that I'm talking about, but with your hands on the yoga mat. Our blocks are gonna give us just a little bit of height so that we don't need as much range in the hips. And it's telling our brains to work a little bit differently, to hold balance. Sometimes I think just changing up one little bit can really unlock more. I'm going to place the blanket out in front of me so that I think of it like a crash pad, something safe, comforting, that allows me to go a little more towards the edge. Okay, and then you're just using those blocks, flat, lowest height, hands underneath them, to get into your crow pose, crane pose. So hands are simply higher off the earth, which means we have to do a little less to get into the hips. And we're still trying to secure knees to the upper arm bones. You're going to be flying higher here. Lift one or both feet up. And if that's like 10 times easier for you than regular crow pose, then that opens a big thought of like, oh, this is really about where do I find hips for me. You can try it again off of the block and keep your butt higher rather than lower. And it might be easier in general for you to come back into the pose. You try crane pose again. If you're gonna roll forward, tuck your chin. And then come out of that, just stand up for a moment, give yourself some room, kick off the dust, all of that sort of thing. So the first base of two-legged K-Sage pose is twisted crane pose. I actually think twisted crane pose is more doable than regular crane pose. So if you've got that regular crane, awesome. You're doing something harder than what comes next. If you didn't, have no fear. This one is actually, I think, just logistically figuring out where things go, but in strength terms, a little easier. So you're gonna set your hands back on those blocks and walk your feet off to the right side. Bend your knees a little bit. Try to keep your feet together. And then you're just leaning towards the left to get your feet to lift up. My right hand has a lot more weight on it than the left. Give it a try. Try it to both sides. Go at your own pace here. If you need to look at something, I'm going to show you in a different version as well. So again, I'm walking the feet off to the side. There's a twist happening, but it's not super significant. With the hands higher on the blocks, it just should make the angle of hips and knees a little bit more doable. One or both feet, try to lift up. Kick heels towards your seat. You can feel free to try it without your blocks as well. Give it about 60 more seconds of just kind of playing around here. You can always twist and turn your body, long edge, short edge of the mat. All right, and then you're gonna give it a break. Set the blocks off to the side, come back, stand at the top end of your mat in mountain pose. Say all those same affirmations, gratitude to keep going, to keep trying. Courage to be playful, and then let it go. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Look up, do a slight back bend here at the top. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to Parsvottanasana. It's like pyramid pose. Keep the right foot forward. Step your left foot back. I want you to make 2 straight legs, best you can. Keep fingertips to the floor. Glide them underneath a block again, or take the hands to the waist. We're looking for a stretch through the back of the legs primarily in this pose. You're probably getting a nice strengthening in the front shin as well. And then what does a twist look like for you in this pose? Left hand stays down, right hand up. Hand can stay way over to the big toe side. Build higher along the shin, even to the waist, and still try to get a turn in the torso. Most traditionally, hand on the pinky toe side. Come out of revolved triangle pose and step both feet to the front of the mat. Stand up, mountain pose. Gratitude to keep going. One more side. Left foot stays forward. Step your right foot back. Turn the back toes in a full 70, 80 degrees, like almost to the front. Make both legs straight, hinge over. Fingertips touch down, floor, block, or shin. All right, add your version of the twist. Right hand down, left arm up. Parivrtta Trikonasana, your twisted triangle pose here. All right, and then come all the way back upright and step both feet forward. Give it a little bit of a shake. Okay, we're going back to that twisted crane pose. I'm going to start this time with the feet more in place. Lift the arms up to the sky, and as you come down, down, down into a squat with heels lifted, you'll twist the torso and place the hands down. This might be how a lot of you have found this pose in the past. You can have the left elbow, I'm losing my words, against the left hip. Like, why not? Makes it doable. In the most traditional sense of the pose, that left elbow is in the air, which is why we did it from that get-go, walking the feet. Play with that way of coming in. This is all sort of play in your own time, and then you're going to come stand up. You're going to twist, turn your feet, body the other way. Give that big high reach. Reason we did all that side body stretching so that we'd have some room. And then you go into, again, the squat with heels up. Feet stay more in place, and then the hands come to place. Most doable version, both elbows get to touch the side of the body. More challenging, right elbow stays off. Lean the head way forward towards your crash pad, feet up. Good, and then come up, kind of shake things out. Okay, so this has all been turned crane pose. To do two-legged K-Sage pose, it's turned crane, but with straight legs instead of bent knees. Here's the way I practice this one. Glasses off. I'm gonna put my head down on the crash pad so that I actually have hands and head on the ground, and it's the feet that lift up. So I'm gonna get back down into that twist, just watch. Place the hands. And then I'm gonna let my forehead go all the way down. And then I'm gonna try to straighten the legs. And this is to help really get you into the shape and the feeling of the pose. I'm not even trying to lift my head back up. And it's like hairline, like you would probably use in a headstand. You're trying to go hairline down to that mat. Give that a go. And this also will help to teach you to get that other elbow free. So it's more of like a headstand set up where your feet happen to be resting on one elbow and trying to stretch the legs straight in a jackknife. And I hope within the play of that pose, you also see how that comes together. You get the shapes, you get the different elements, and then you try to add them all up at the same time. You've got those two different approaches, setting hands first or feet first. The stretch through the legs, same as the next pose will do. Okay, yogis, that's a lot of great work. Lie down onto your back, off of your hands, hug the knees into your chest. Circle the wrists, circle your ankles one way and the other. Set the hands out to a T shape. Anytime you're working those arm balance poses on your own and want to make the shapes come into picture for you and mindset a little easier, grab your blocks, give yourself a little extra height. For now, just take a supine twist. Once your legs are on the floor, extend them straight and try to catch your ankles into the hand. And that's that jackknife shape we worked on last week, I think, with firmly rotated pose. Same elements are in K-Sage pose. There's a reason both of them are in the same sequence. They mirror each other in a lot of ways. Obviously, what we did today, you had to use your wrist a lot more though. Come on over to the second side. Lay the knees down. And then stretch the legs straighter towards a hold in the left hand. Same tone and turn of the belly that you need in K-Sage. Same stretch and lengthen the legs. All right, come back to the center. Give yourself a good hug. Hardest class of the month for sure. I try to throw one curveball at y'all at least once a month. Thanks for sticking through it. Release, set the soles of the feet down on the mat. Do your arms like goalposts and then your legs like windshield wipers from side to side. Stop at the center, cross your right ankle over the left thigh, point your knee out to the side, thread the needle, pull your left leg up, arms under. And switch on over to your second side, left ankle over, knee out to the side, in that figure four shape, then pull the right foot in. As you come back to the middle, give yourself one more hug. And this is your time for Shavasana. If you need another pose, a little unwinding, this is your time to do it. If you're ready to let it all be, this is your time to do it. Relax. Friends, from that peace and relaxation, stay with it. But create a little bit more movement again, just in fingers and toes. Take your time to come back to a seated position if you're lying back. Practices like these are just a whole lot of trying, a whole lot of try again, see what works, see what doesn't. The gumption to keep on going. So much gratitude for doing that. Bring palms together, thumbs to the sternum. Let's let the sound of Om travel out in gratitude to the rest of your day ahead as well. Sing along, listen, tune it out, empty the breath, deep breath in. Om. Namaste.